How has everyone been? All of the 0 people who are currently watching. Woohoo! It's been pretty great from my perspective. I've been working pretty hard on various projects. I'm just finding... here it is. I've got one thing to do. You'll notice that I've already cleaned... Well, I have cleaned the thing down. It just doesn't look like I've cleaned it down. How big is that compared... How soft is that? Oh, I'm going to keep it. We'll see how it goes. So wish me luck on that one. Okay, so what have we got today? Well, I thought because we've been doing a lot of things, you know, pretty big, we're going to definitely put some colour out there. We're definitely putting some colour out there. Don't you worry. Zooming in a little bit. There we go. That's probably perfect. So let's have a look at some of the stuff we've got here. We've got more than this. Just quickly. Hello guys, how you doing? These are 2 magpies that I've just befriended. Sorry about the back garden at the moment. I'll get you some dog food. Hang on. I'll be right back. I'll go get the dog food and then it's alright, don't fly away. Right, before we start with the opals then, I'll just do a quick recap of what's going on here. Whoop. These are magpies. They're the vicious evil birds that they keep talking about in Australia. Here you go, mate. Yep, there you go. So, just a bit of dog food because they're carnivores. But they're really quite beautiful animals. Beautiful creatures, these guys. And they're very, very intelligent. They know who you are, and they came down when they heard my voice, and I wasn't even over here when I was feeding them before. They just know. They're really, really clever little fellas. So I don't think we're quite at the point where I can hand feed them, but because I've only seen them twice, but they learn pretty quick who's nice and who's not. So these guys, you rank, I don't know, I've got cockatoos, so you have to rank behind the cockatoos, I'm afraid, guys. But you can see the guy in the foreground here. Let me see, is that a guy? I think it's a dude. Where's he gone? There he is. So he's very young, and that other one, I think it's a girl, and I think it's older. So, I mean, I have no idea. I just know a little bit about, there you go. This is just dog food. I was going to talk about opals, guys. Do you mind if I go talk about opals now? Yeah. Yeah, I know. Seems to have disconnected. Just, I've just hooked in. I think I'll go see birds and stuff, and then suddenly we go back to the opals. Look, I love nature in all of its forms, and therefore you see an awful lot of stuff on this channel, which is not necessarily what you expect. But this was going to be an opal cutting session. So, here we go. We've got this guy here. I'm going to zoom right in so that we can see. That's zoom right in, thank you. It's daytime, so these things are pretty spectacular. Now, what I've done here is I've got some really big opals. So this guy here is massive. It's, you know, coming in at about 10 carats. Is that the one I wanted? I'm just checking. That's not the one I wanted. This isn't either, but it'll do. This is clocking in at about, well, this will be 20 carats-ish. Can't see much on it. I know that there is colour on this guy somewhere. I'm just going to try and find it for you. It's just poking. Oh, okay. So it's just poking out here. There's just a little bit of green that you might be able to see. But rest assured, there's more colour. There it is. There's the green. You can just see it there. But rest assured, there's more than that on this guy. And then there's these guys here. I think it's this. Maybe this is the one I was talking about. Yeah, this is the one. So this guy here, the piece of shell opal, you can see how there's just that gentle sheen on it. So what that means is this can go 2 ways. This can go 2 ways. You either get yourself a really nice opal, or you get yourself a lot of nothing. You take the sheen off it, and that's the end of it. If we go right into the colour bar, you can see it's quite a thick colour bar for such a thin opal. You can't see anything but green there I can see. I'm going to try and shift it around so you can see what the range of colours are. Basically there's red in there, but you'll have to believe me on that one, but we'll see how that one goes. But what I was thinking of doing is we'll warm up by actually cutting a few pointers. And pointers are basically opals which are point something of a carat. So this guy's out my first one because it's probably going to be the least spectacular of them. And we're not going to move up in spectacularity, but we will be getting better and better as time goes on. Now I'm going to zoom out a bit and show you some of the setup so you can understand. Right, if you have a look on the right hand side here, this is actually a scale. So let me give you an example. This opal here, I've been meaning to make it a bit bigger, but you can see that opal is roughly 1 centimetre across. This one is, well, 1 centimetre across. But you can do the longer part of it and find out that it's about 1.5 centimetres. Eventually I'll have all of the scale marks put up on there, but for the time being, yeah, well, they like opal cutting. Magpies are out the back here, just enjoying the opal cutting experience. I'll do this one next. Zoom in a little bit. There, that's perfect. So the first one we're going to do is what I consider to be the least spectacular. Now what I'm going to do also is I'm just taking the opals off the bench because the vibration usually sends them flying. So I'm trying to come up with a counter of this, and I also want to make this more user defined. I don't think I can keep that there, but we'll see. I want to make this more user defined. I want to have it so that you can choose which opals to cut, but for the time being you're just going to have to deal with my will. Or alternatively, if you want to see one cut, try and direct me to one. I've tried numbering them. Before. That was spectacular failure. And hello Nae Roblox. Oh, I know you. So that was a spectacular failure. Just taking them off the ground, and then I'll get back to the regularly scheduled opal cutting. I think some of them fell into my water reservoir, so hopefully none of the ones I told you I was cutting fell in. Alright. Oh, I meant that to happen, honest, I did. Alright. I thought I could get one more show out of the blade. The blade is pretty blunt. Didn't realise it was that blunt. If worst comes to worst, I'll replace it. I didn't replace it before we started because the only ones I had to hand were slightly smaller. I quite like these blades. But there's no point, seeing I'm going to do pointers, there's no point in me doing a rubbish job on an opal. So we'll see how things go. A few updates. I have a competition running, which is a thinly veiled competition actually. I'm just calling it nepotism. Basically there's a few regulars who've been on the channel, and I just want you to know that I have either talked to you publicly or privately and said, yeah, have some opal. I haven't forgotten you. I've just got to try and find out where all of your details are. You've got to sort that one out. So if you are one of those people, then fret not, you're going to get something somehow. I wonder if anybody uses the word fret anymore, other than in guitar parlance. Okay, that is going straight into my face, that, so I'm just going to move this to the side a bit. Ooh. Probably better, all the better to see you with. My, what big blade you have. All the better, don't want to be, all the better to be demonetized with. Yeah, this equipment gets very dirty very quickly, and considering it's not too bad, but these blades, they don't have a permanent shelf life, although I think a lot of people have expressed a lot of amazement at how long the blades actually do last. Others have expressed amazement at how long my fingers last, but that's just an illusion, my magical illusion, because the blades don't actually hurt your fingers at all. No, I'm not going to put it on for longer. Whee! Today, Dr. Phil's got a bit of Butterfingers. I mean, I have a few Butterfingers from time to time, but like from the very start, the whole tray fell down. That was because I was trying something new, I suppose. Now, I didn't realise I was working the back. Or maybe it was just when it flipped when I was doing what I was doing. Just got to get back onto the task at hand. So this guy's going to be a nice pointer, probably 0.75 even of a carat, but it's very, 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 very clear. So, you know, it's going into the jar, tink. But I'm not holding high hopes for it. This one, however, maybe. Let's have a look at it. Let's go really close up and see if you can spot what I can see. What do you reckon? This guy is going to be another pointer, but I think this is a pointer that's going to stand out a bit. Now I thought I'd do a few pointers because I've got so many of them, and some of them are quite spectacular, and I'm going to get some very, very small ones out in a minute. The point I'm making with this one is it's very small, and this one's, if I correct about it, if I'm good with what I'm doing, it need not be a pointer. It might be a 1 carat stone or even bigger. And the take-home message to all of that is that you really work on the quality of the material, not necessarily the size of the material. Having said that, people know that I usually just get opal rough from wherever. Look at that. I think we've found our side. Going to have to trim it back a bit. It's a nuisance, but that's alright. You can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs, as they say. Looks like this thing's going to be double-sided. I might have to trim it in a bit more. As a matter of fact, I'll make another pointer. Yeah, I'll do that. So that guy is going to be another pointer. And I was right, because it was cracked at that point. I don't know, sometimes your instincts tell you something. Right, now the next question is, what will I do? Will I go from the back or from the front? Because it's increasingly becoming obvious that this is a spectacular stone no matter which way you do it. There we go. That's the back. I think I might keep doing the back because I can clear the sand. There's also a crack here, but that's alright. So what I'm going to do now, we've pretty much gotten to the point where we've got a stone of epicness. Look at that. That's over a carat. Oh, it might be around about a carat. So, you know, a couple of $100. Not bad for a few seconds work. So what I'm doing now is I'm just clearing the back, making the back as good as the front, because that's important. Once you start dealing with something that's obviously going to be a luxury object, that means that you've got to really pay attention to quality. You can't have small defects. You can't have bad technique. So you just got to gently get in there and fix everything up. And it doesn't matter how small you make the stone, so long as you fix up all the issues. No, that's got rolling flat. That's far out. That's bright on that side. It's bright on that side. I don't know what to do, to be honest. I think I'll just very carefully bring some more of that stone in. You have to. You can't just... Can't just let it stay. And there's still some sand in there. So, I mean, this is what comes with the territory. You've got to be able to handle the fact that you've got to carve potentially hundreds of dollars off a stone just to get it right. So, It's looking good. It's getting a bit thin, and that's all right. What I'm doing now is I'm just rolling the sides in. And I really can't decide. This thing's double-sided, so I'm just going to keep it that way. So at the moment, there is just a little gap in the middle there, so probably the back might be the better way to go, but we don't know. Just very gently take a few ends off. But this is a high quality stone no matter what way you look at it, so that's a success. There you go. That one I will dop it up and see. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. That one I will dop it up. Yeah, that's right. We're trying to get you in focus. I'll dop it up and it'll make, it's probably not going to quite make a carat, but that doesn't matter. It'll still be quite a high value stone. So I'm putting that one onto my urgent pile basically. Right. Next thing I'm going to do is a really, really small one. I've got a few tiny, tiny, tiny ones around. Look at this guy. Similar quality of stone, except it's really, really tiny. And I like doing these ones. They're a lot of fun. And I'll do a smaller one soon. Let's have a look at what's done straight away. Yep, we've got lots of colour coming through. Perfect. Let's just get the back sorted out. Let's have a look at the colour. Not as good as the front, but you know, beggars cannot be choosers. So what I'm going to do now is just bring the sides in. Unfortunately, it's just a bit too small to cut conservatively, so you can't get as much opal back, but that's all right, because I think we've got some unique properties to this one, because it's very thick for its size. I'll explain that in a second. Yeah, just got to be careful with this. I was going to say that it was probably going to be ending up at the same size as the previous one, but that's not going to happen. Reason being is that it's most likely a fracture that's caused this piece to come off a much more impressive stone, and that meant that it had a few cracks in it to start with, and I've just been straightening out those cracks. That's all right. You have to take the good with the bad when you're doing these sorts of things, and I certainly think there's more good than bad in this particular stone, so I don't mind. I don't mind in the slightest. And now to do the back a bit. There's still a chunk of sand sitting here, so that's a worry, but you know, if you've been cutting opals for long enough, or if you've been watching opal cutting for long enough, you'll realise that 90% of the work is clearing the sand out, and you know that the stone ends up nowhere near the size of the rough. Like you have a 10 carat piece of rough and it is perfectly normal to end up with a, you know, 1 or 2 carat stone. Sounds wasteful. It's just, you can't pre-order from nature the stones, so the colour's where it is. And there might be an imperfection, you've got to get rid of it. And then I'll just bring that end in. Right, so there we go. Now the rest of this will be docked, but it's a nice little earring piece. Beautiful little stone there. But that's going into the jar, tink, because, you know, that one doesn't necessarily need to be done, so I may as well do this one. This is the one that just cut off. It just ended up on my hand somehow. So I'll just quickly get it. Those magpies have realised the meal's ended, so they're out of here. They're gone. Alright, there we go. Put that on a dop stick at some stage, but tiny little pointer. Into the jar it goes. Now, Going to have a little bit of fun here. I'm not going to do this for too long, but look at these guys. This guy here. Yep, that's a piece that I found in my opal rough, and this is another piece I found in my opal rough. Very, very small pieces of material, but very bright, and so going to make pointers out of them very quickly. First thing to do, of course, is to do some work on the back. Then on the front, hopefully that crack will go away. You probably can't see the crack because I'm not zoomed in well enough. Okay, what we've got is a little problem that it's not a huge one, but it's obvious that this stone faces from this side, so I'm going to have to try and do something about that. Hopefully if I do this, it'll mitigate that. Basically the equivalent of a high dome. People always say, oh, I want a high dome on that opal. Ooh, look at that high dome. And yeah, they're good, but sometimes you have to do what's appropriate to the opal, not necessarily what, you know, what wins opal shows or stuff. Because ultimately, what is attractive in general is not necessarily attractive to that stone. You know, this guy, I'm going to call it a partial success, but, oh, hello. Hello, Ian. Yeah, okay, so everyone's just suddenly started talking. I was just telling everyone that I've got a competition called Nepotism going, and I think Gilly is one of the winners of that. The only trouble, of course, is that I've got to hunt down addresses so I can send the stuff to you. But what I thought of doing, especially for people like Gilly, this is another stone, by the way, much smaller than the first. What I was thinking of doing is I'll give some of the fun stones, like these guys. I've got so many pointers that I should just give them out. But I'll also just hand out, you know, a large-ish selection of the random rough that I've got, just for you to try your luck with it. I'm not necessarily saying you're going to find anything, but, you know, just try your luck. And there are other things you can do with that stuff too. Okay, so that one ended up really quite nice. Oh, we might just overrun YouTube. Yeah, I think that Americans like the Aussie accent. What I'm going to do now, seeing we've got 20 odd people on the channel, well, according to my metrics anyway, we'll have a crack at this one, because I think this one is either going to crash and burn quite spectacularly or be spectacularly. So let's give this one a go. There we go, that one. That one. Having said that, I've met a few people from other countries, and, well, obviously I have, but especially in the opal cutting community, I think that everyone's nice. So, although Aussie dominance is fine, not that high on my priority list. But if it ends up that, you know, you and I end up, you know, massive YouTube people lighting cigars with $100 bills, that kind of thing, well, I will grudgingly accept that, as long as I don't have to smoke the cigar. Now, one thing I noticed, I'll do the back first because I think that this colour is going the whole way through it. Please be doing that. Please don't have cracks also. Okay, so there's a little bit of concern here. I can see I wonder if you can see the slight line down there. If that goes any further, that means I have to cut the thing in half, which would, it'd suck a little bit, but not too much. You still have quite a lot of material left over to work. Just would prefer to have a, 2 or 3 carat stone. So I can see some sand in the background here. I'm just trying to get rid of that. The little voice in the back of my head is saying you should have cut it, mate. You should have cut it. The little voice is probably right. I think I can see. Okay. If I'd left it any longer, then I would have started to seriously compromise the amount of opal that I was getting. As it stands, I've already compromised a little bit. Yeah, the last part just cracked off, so that was very lucky. Yes, you can see the crack goes all the way up. Well, its shape was like an egg, yes. I was making it into a drop at the time. What I might do is, this will be 2 triangles, this piece. But let's just take the top off and see what we get. See if it's worth the effort. You tell me, do you think it's worth the effort? What do you say? Oh dear. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is that I can still see a bit of imperfection in this, so I have to cut it. So this piece I'll work on later, but this one I'm just going to turn it straight into a bit of a cab, just to see what they look like. Now that is a rock. You can imagine, like, someone's going to propose with a rock like that. Oh, Angela, will you marry me? In Belvedere, yes I will. Okay, so yeah, I reckon that's a good one. I'm putting that one onto my priority dot queue because that one is really going to be good. And guess what? We've got this left over. Hopefully, we've got no more surprises on the back, and we can just concentrate on turning this into an absolute cracker of an opal, or a cracked opal. Do not be a cracked opal. Just having a look at this, I'm a bit concerned. Let's just pretend that's not there. Just go for it. What we can do is we can gaze upon the completed stone, even if I will have to cut it in half. We can gaze at what could have been. Now, when people say wall-to-wall colour, that's what they're talking about. Now, I'm just making a decision here. I think one of the walls has got to go. Trust that bit to go flying. But we're lucky because I think that section snapped in 2. So it was definitely a good call, that one. Snapped in 3 actually. Yeah, 3 pieces. So yeah, good call on that. Let me just have a quick look at this piece. Hopefully I can see into that other section from there. I might just bring the bottom in a bit, see what that does. I'm anticipating about a carat because this is I'll have to cut it in half. Look, the easiest and the safest solution is to cut it in half. There'll be 2.75 carat stones. They'll still be good. And that just ends the mucking around. You end up with good opal. It's not as big as you wanted, but you've at least got a chance that one of them is going to succeed and become a fantastic stone. So yeah, it sucks when that happens, but I've still got, you know, probably it's turned about $1,000 worth of material, I reckon, if I get good prices for all the stones. So, you know, can't complain. What I might do is I might just count the stones and then just say $100 a stone, even though one might be worth less, one might be worth more. .75 here, I reckon. It's still quite thick, so that's good. There we go. So look at that. That's an absolute smasher. So that's going on to the priorities, and let me see, where's the other one? Here's the last piece that I've had to cut. I'm just going to make this one freeform because it is, I think that's what it's wanted all along. That's as far as I'm going with this one. And I'll put that onto the dot stick. So that's sitting there almost exactly 1 carat. So yeah, $200 there. Pretty good. I'm putting them all on priority doppings because you don't often get stuff like that. Alright, we're going to continue the party, however, because look at this guy. This is a stone of almost exactly the same quality. It's got a lot more blues sitting on pinks, so we'll see what we can get. These are all Cooper Pedy stones, by the way. Just showing you there's things to the side there. I'm deciding whether I need to, or I'm going to cut that at this angle here. Whee! Alright, that was probably the safest option, and this piece here is going off too because it's a different height. Oh, yeah, it has to go. So that will come up as a stone, pretty much stick it straight on the top. So, you know. Did I see the opal guy make an appearance? I did indeed. How's it been? Let's go just down there. There's just a few little issues with this stone. Hopefully I'll be able to work through them. At least I've gotten one. The side is very bright. It's blinking at me like a Florida left indicator. Oh yeah, because the yeah, it suddenly occurred to me it's changing over to winter time as it's changing over to summer here. So that means, I suppose I don't often get to say this, it's the fall. We call it autumn around here. So yeah, the days will be getting shorter, the nights will be getting longer. I suppose you can just think of us as Canadians who talk funny. Eh? And we're not very good at writing our names in snow either. Nice little triangle. Look at that. Wonder if you can even see it. I'm going to zoom right in because this is worth it. Trying to block off all the extraneous light because I think that's what's causing issues. It's just too bright. Pretty much too bright. Too bright for words. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, that one's going into the priority list as well. I've got plenty of priority cuts today. That's good. I'm going to be choosing between these two stones now. This one here, which is a nice green, which will come up with that same kind of, they call it salmon skin pattern, which it's basically an all over kind of shimmying pattern. I've got another one here, which is very similar. So we'll see how that goes. Bigger one first, I reckon. Once again, this is Cooper Pedy, mostly shell opal, so I suppose fish pattern is probably appropriate. But I'm quite surprised at the quality of this opal. A lot of this comes from the new batch that I got yesterday, but a lot of it doesn't. It's just all over. The last couple of times I've been getting the bigger pieces and I've been trying to cut them, and sometimes they don't work as well as these tiny little guys. Now, just a small opal cutting lesson. I'm cutting from the top, and I happen to know this is the top because it's blue, and the red particles settle last and the blue particles settle first, and so that means that the top is usually blue, gravitationally speaking. Orientation's a little bit funny, so I've just got to do a bit of crust earning just because I've got to get the sides right. Well, actually, I've got to get the orientation right. You can see that it's getting very blunt, this blade. I think I can still work with it. Probably this opal's a bit harder. It feels a bit harder too, so maybe that's the issue. But I don't mind taking my time. Actually, I'm the most impatient person in the world, I reckon. No, I'm patient. I suddenly realised a whole list of people who are less patient than me cropped up, and I'm going, oh, hang on, no, I'm a saint compared to them. This is proving to be, famous last words, this is proving to be quite easy to do. This is the point when we find out that it is part TNT. Oh yes, a very rare TNT opal. Sorry about your fingers. So, I've managed to straighten out the front, but I think that the back that I was straightening out before is actually the way to go. So let's give that one a shot. Yeah, that's pretty good. Nice little mossy / mosaic pattern, I suppose, what you'd call it. Yes, it's a Mexican jumping opal. There we go. Yeah, so I reckon we'll eventually get to the colour, but not before we get rid of potch, so I reckon just cutting this side is the best idea. I just had to flatten it out, so it took an awful lot out of it and almost cleared the stone into a crystal. Which isn't exactly what I was going for, but you know. considering the fact I've had such raging successes with all the other stones, I don't think I have a right to complain. So at the moment it's going to change, but it's looking at about 1.5 carats-ish. This one's not as bright as the other ones, so, you know, 100-ish. Sounds like I'm defaulting to 100 every time, isn't it? And I'd be right, because someone will have bought it for 100, probably someone will have bought it for 1,000, because opals are like that. Opal guy sits on his site, he continually cuts blinders and goes, oh yeah, worth 20 bucks I reckon. No way. Got a good eye, my friend. Alright, so there we go. It's a little bit lighter than I would have hoped, but I think that it'll, when we polish it up, it'll be just absolutely amazing, smashing. Moving that into the priority queue. I'm going to have to make a double priority queue. Alright, here's an experiment that I'll be performing. I'll do this one afterwards. This experiment is because it is a Cooper stone, but you'll notice that at the bottom is actually black opal. So you don't see that very often in Cooper, so I'm going to give it a cut and just see if there's anything between the black and the white, because if there is, Cooper black opal, not bad. I'm going to have to prepare it, which means cutting that orange section off. Now, bearing in mind, I'm not expecting anything from this stone. It's just an interesting opportunity that has arisen. So we'll get our first look at what underneath looks like. I'll just carve this guy, see what it looks. So, nothing remarkable so far. Wasn't expecting anything remarkable at this stage, but, you know, weirder things have happened. So let's have a quick look. You can look with me. Nothing, nada, zip. That was to be expected, and quite frankly, zip from this next bit is probably to be expected. I'm just going to carve this black section to be a little bit more consistent. That's better. No. Look what I've done. And doesn't matter. Probably won't mean anything anyway. Now I'll cut along here. There's a lot of cracks and things. But quite frankly, if there's any kind of black opal at the end of this with colour, that will just be a success in its own right. And guys, I am literally cutting it because it's black, not because I can see anything. Whoa. Better not be anything, because I did a pretty nasty thing to it. Bit too keen. Put a few too many wheat bix and a little bit less control than I should have. There we go. So far nothing, and I reckon I could probably, no. So it might be more webbing than crack. So let's have a look, see what we get. Well, got a cab out of it. nor did some colour just flare up. I mean, there's pink there, so it's hard to tell if there's actually a bit of proper red in amongst that pink. I mean, chances are it's just ordinary pink, so don't get excited. What I will do is, we've got a pretty bright sun out there, so I'm going to take it out and have a quick look at it. Just so that you know, there's a lot of crackage in there, so it's probably not worth it. Okay, my prognosis, ladies and gentlemen, is there is colour in it, but that colour is almost purely because of the cracks in it. So, nice experiment, failed. But that's alright, we expected that. So those there, that one, that's the other piece of that opal. Okay, to the side you go. This one will be a 5-second job, I reckon. Let's just get it into shape. There we go. Facing a little bit to the side. No, it's not. I've gone the wrong. Oh my goodness. I was cutting it from the back. Yeah. Here's a hot tip, all you young opal cutters, don't cut the wrong side. I think that's the second time I've done that, isn't it? I'm asleep at the wheel, so to speak. Here we go. And here we go. Here we go. Look. Perfect. About a carrot. Beautiful little moss pattern. We'll call it that. Bit of a rolling flash too. No, not really a rolling flash. Ignore the rolling flash comments. Alright. So let's have a quick look at what we've got here. I'm just checking this one to see why I've done it. It's another opal here that's got pink potch in it. If you remember the heart that I made before, that's a long-term project I think, so I'll leave that one alone. Got this one. This one's a pretty interesting looking one. It's just got just two tones basically. Got another pointer here. This one will take literally 5 seconds, so we'll do that one. Weirdly, I had to cut through the back of it to straighten it out, and I'm cutting straight through the colour to the colour bar, and I might just leave it at that. I won't try and cut the front. I'll try and tidy the front now, but I'm not going to try and cut it right enough as it is. Beautiful little stone. I do have to flatten it a bit, which just produces that same effect, front and back, double-sided. I don't know what to do with a double-sided stone so small, but you know, got one. I'll leave the rest of that to be cut on a I'll use the other side because that's a bit better. There we go. The rest of that can be cut on a oh, zoom in, fine. Not going to help us, is it? It's really not. It's sitting there going, you know what? You don't deserve consideration. I'm going to try and go from my vantage point, maybe. There we go. Still nothing. Yeah, it's a good stone. Just believe me, it's brilliant. Wall-to-wall colour, that one. I sound like a bad salesman. Alright. There we go. You see it from back there. Maybe from back there. Oh, I don't know. But that one's going in the jar because ordinarily I'd be putting that as a priority, but I've got so many priorities. Do we want to do that one? No, I don't. This one's an interesting one because when I was looking at it in full sun, basically where the colour starts is where that orange line is. I don't know why, but it's interesting nonetheless. Oh, look at that. Don't see that every day. Gee. So I'll just cut it on both sides and see what happens. Right. Not a lot there, so maybe it was this side. Okay, there's a little bit of colour here, it's very faint. Okay, so the colour that's appeared is a bit I'm going to have to cut off. That's about right. Sounds like my life. Let's see if we can get the rest of it to behave. Wow, it's shattering. It's the way it shatters that matters. There's another piece that might come off too. Okay, well let that be a warning to everybody. If you see an opal with an orange line on it, don't be fooled. Yeah, got nothing. Okay. Got plenty more. I want to try for the spectacular. Let's see if we've got something that's spectacular-ish. I mean, we've already done some pretty good stuff, but not that one, not that one, not that one. Not that one. This one looks like it's already been done. Let's have a quick look at it. That's a bit weird. I don't remember doing it. Maybe I did. I tell you what, this is a pretty simple stone to cut. Nice colour. Go and check some previous live streams. Maybe I cut it on one of them. Yeah, now I don't know what you can see because the colour is quite light, but quite good. Easy peasy. Not a bad cut for... G'day, Gilly. Not a bad cut for like 5 seconds work. That's going into the priority queue, as all of them are. Right, let's have a look at this one. Okay, so okay, this is a risk. This one's a different kind of risk. This one, I'm just curious. Let's just have a look at the top and then we'll cut the bottom off as well. Very thin. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Just as it's too thin. That is just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. So I'm going to cut this piece off with the sand, because it's going to have the sand backing this time around. Which is not the best, but you know, what can you do? Now let's have a look at what we've got here. We've got this piece here. Don't know which side to attack it from. May as well go from this side. Let's see what eventuates. Don't think it's going to be as good as the other one, but you know, you never know. Just a very thin layer of colour. Yeah, that one wasn't as spectacular, but you know, that was fun. Okay, let's do this guy. This is another of those fish skins. I'm going to straight away cut this off, make another pointer out of it. Right, so that's another pointer video that we'll do. And then this bit, I like having them all the same thickness all the way through. I think ultimately you save yourself a lot more trouble by doing that. So there's another pointer down. What have we got left? If you have a look inside, that's a really interesting, intriguing, beautiful piece of... Oh, hello there, collection of curiosities. How are you feeling today? She's been going through the ringer recently, so I'm definitely happy to make sure she's alright. So if you have a look at this one, this is almost like an Ethiopian, isn't it? Because if you know those, what do they call them? Honeycomb patterns? They have those lines going up. I hope it doesn't cut like an Ethiopian opal. That would be a disaster. Not that there's anything wrong with an Ethiopian willow opal, it's just that I don't have a good track record with them. Okay. Well, I think that the one thing I've noticed about you, without going too deep into things, is that you are quite a resilient person, so good on you for that. So this one, that's the second time I've done that. I've got in from the wrong end, from the wrong side. You know what? I think Specsavers appointment's in order. Honestly. I think it's 3 stones in a row or something. Stone the rose. Right. This one's getting there, as is all of them. Okay, so the colour seems to be diving away here. I'm just going to see if it fully dives away. Yeah, I think it does. It's interesting. We'll see if we can get some more colour coming into the middle, but it seems to just not be there. Maybe if we interrogate the sides, we'll figure out what's going on with this thing. Yeah, I think there's just a giant bunch of pots which is pushing its way through. And because there is a little bit of opal on either side, it's an interesting question on what to do with it. I think I'm going to try to persevere. That might not have been the best of strategies, but you know. I'll also change the angle a little bit and see if that fixes things. If not, I'm just slicing it. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to slice. At least we'll know what the story is when we have a look at this piece. Whee! That'd be about right. Okay, there's a colour band right in the middle of it. So if we just keep going. Also, believe it or not, I was correct. It was the other way around. I was cutting it from the gravitational top, not the, yeah, see there? Got to the colour eventually. But that means that at least I can round it off. That goes into the jar. Now let's have a look at this guy. It just means that I can round it off, I reckon. Too bad. I think if you get 2 pair in a poker game, you get more than 200 bucks, depending on how you do it. So refacing it a little bit, just to give it a bit of oomph. But man, that's a lot of oomph it's got already. That's a pretty good one. Okay, I'm going to start sounding like the Antiques Roadshow now, because I'm going, 100 bucks. Probably a bit more than that. I probably could get 150 for it, because it's really quite bright. But sometimes you just, I don't mind leaving some fat in the margin, so we'll say it's worth more than that, but we'll sell it for 100 or something like that. You see, I'm not a member of the Gemological Society, or whatever they call it. If you have that training, you can certify opals. But if you get it certified, it costs around 80 bucks to get that done. So if you've got an opal worth 100 bucks, you certify it for 80. That's 20 bucks to sell it with. There you go. That is going in priorities, because that is really quite bright. So I don't know how many priorities I've got. I've got dozens now. Quick drink. Right, let's have a quick look. I'm getting a little bit tired, but I'm a little tired. Take a nap, then launch the missiles. Okay. Gotta do this one. What I might do is I might do one of these clear ones. Not because I expect anything of them, but because they're nice. Oh no, I'll do this one. It's pretty. Let me have a quick look. We've also got a black opal or two. That's pretty much done, so I won't do that. Got a knobby here. We might have a look inside the knobby. How many other knobbies have I got that I can look inside? We'll do this one. Because quite frankly, we've done quite well today. So, like, we can afford to bust on a few of them. So let's do this guy. This will be a bit of a morale boost anyway. Like normally I'm like, oh wow, look at that. But like every single one, like I wouldn't have a voice. It's very matter-of-factly going in and slicing up the colour. It's just a bit of a dodgy end there, so I had to cut it off. And that one is sloped, so I'm cutting it off. You probably know that by now. Alright, now I'll just make like two trailer park girls. I don't know what that means, it's just a lyric from Eminem, so don't blame me. Yeah, I'm never responsible for what I do. Yeah, sorry, I just quickly had a look at the chats just to see if people are going, I am so offended. Oh my goodness, why is he saying such rubbish? Oh, when I was in the Boer War, we didn't say stuff like that. No, we didn't. We just went into Jerry and told them, gave them a good ticking off. Sadly, there's not very much call for an English elderly general voice. I crack it out when I can. Well, there you go. Not as colourful as I was expecting. That can go in the ordinary jar. That'll teach it. Still, on another day I'd probably have gone, yeah, that's a pretty nice stone. That colour is just showing up. Just been a bit spoiled by today's offerings. Because it's hard or the blade's blunt or reasons, I've just done a lot of the fine motor work with this blade here. Ordinarily I use the sandpaper and the drop stick, but didn't seem to require it, so I can just save all my dot sticks to, you know, trim my nose hairs apparently. Alright, now this one's a little bit interesting. I want to see what it's like, but it is very thin, so we might not get something out of this. I just want it, I'm just curious. And it's concave, so hard to get into, but that's alright. Probably a piece of shell opal, although I haven't closed the door on wood. It does have a little bit of a, it has a bit of a wood vibe to it. So what I'm going to do is, and am I going to go out on a limb or not? Yep, let's just do it. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this as good a piece as it can be. It's scrubbing up quite well. It's going to have to be doubleted. It is quite nice. And if I angle the ends in like this, it'll be nicer still. Yeah, that'd be lovely. There you go, look at that. Just making sure that the inside is just as good as the outside, and there's just one little piece. Should be starting to sand it because it's getting very thin. There we go, and let's find that piece of black potch that we were so bitterly disappointed with earlier. Yeah. So with the potch it looks a lot nicer. Okay, so let's go digging into this knobby, see what we can find. And all that he could find was a center. Oh my goodness! Oh, you gotta see this. You gotta see this. It's only that side. Have a look. We're just going to zoom in just so you can see why I was getting so... See that? Look at that. Unbelievable. So this might not face up correctly, but it's certainly got the material for it. So let's go to the other side. It's not really thick, but it's thick enough if we need to do something, I think. I'm anticipating that if the colour's moving through, then this side and this side will have something going. I might have to facet it a bit and fossick around to find the colour, but will that do it? No, let's try the opposite side. The opposite side's good because that means that we can face it. Indeed we can. Oh, it's playing ball. This one is playing ball. Look at that. It faces from the top. Now I may have to slice it because it curves down again, so I can't rely on that to be constantly facing that way. But so far, so good. So what we've got here is a technical challenge of an opal, but it is so worth it. Right, so far, this. Look. What's doing? Yeah, we're not claiming total victory in this guy. Yeah, it's purple at the moment. What it basically means is if you go a little bit deeper and it's still got colour, that'll turn into blue. A good purple is a nice colour to have. A good blue is better. There's a lot of cracking down here, which worries me. But that's alright. We will cope. Right, there's a lot of cracking here, so it's a combination, expose the colour and salvage the stone. I might have to cut through the middle here. Right. What that does is it gives us an opportunity to angle both sides appropriately. I think this one angles from this side. Let's see. That was not very successful. Right. Did that work? Unbelievable. Okay, well, we're going to give up on that piece because I ruined it. That's alright. Let's just get this bit done. Oh yeah, it doubles the value if you can cut it in such a way that no opal shows. He's an artistic genius, he is. Look at all that no colour he's cut out. Oh my golly gosh. Why am I carving rocks? Do you know what opal is, my good friend? Well, my favourite birds are cockatoos because I've got two. We're going to go inside very soon and have a look at them, as a matter of fact, because I'm getting very, very tired from hunching over and cutting little rocks, as you call them. But these little rocks are called opals, and they are worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I quite enjoy cutting little rocks. So that's all right. It's just it's having a bit of trouble. That happens sometimes. They are quite troublesome, these knobbies. Especially with this colour. It's this purple colour is notoriously directional. So you know, if there's a bit of sand or something obstructing it, you can see that it's nowhere near the size it started off as. I'll put it into the jar. Oh no, I'll turn it into a cab first, and then I'll put it into a jar, and then I will work on it at my leisure. But that was really heartening to see the colour come out the first moment I cut into the side, even if it didn't, you know, perform as well as I was expecting it to. And you're right about that, nothing ventured, nothing lost, because that knobby would just be a rock if I didn't. So you may as well have a crack. Alright. I'm going to quickly, how am I going to do this? I'm going to carve straight through the side of this one, see what it looks like. If we have anything that looks like solid opal here, we'll go in. Let's have a look. So that's not the question you should have been asking me. You should have been asking, why are you cutting through sand? But my definition of it's able to be cut through is probably different to everybody else's. Suddenly realised how much sand I had cut through when I was sitting there happily believing it was possible. Now, just like so. Hopefully I've got the angles right. Or it'll be a whole heap and not worth it. Right. So, any colour? No. That was definitely worth it. Maybe he's being a bit ironical there. I don't think it's cutting like sunflash either, so that's not good. I thought it looks like a sunflash stone to me. But, no, I don't think so. Or maybe. Yeah, we've got something here. Could just be another layer of sand though. It's definitely got another layer of sand there. I think that's probably a sign. Ouch. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. I just hit it with my shoulder. My mighty shoulder. Just having a look at it now. The stone has got the tiniest amount of red on it, but I'm not going to continue exploring. It's probably not worth it. Just to finish the cutting session on a high, hopefully anyway, I'm going to cut into another rock. You've got to find an appropriately colourful rock for that to happen. Suppose, oh, this guy. This guy should do. Alright, let's have a look at you. You'll see it in a minute. There's some nice colour on the side. I'm hopeless with the curiosity approach. 5 things he does when cutting an opal. You won't believe number 19. Ten shocking facts about opals. I'm going to do a numbered thing about birds, I think. There's a few things. Oh, I'll do a numbered thing about opals. I think 6 cutting tips. Not here, but like, you know, back in the clickbait section. Look out for it and don't forget to click. You've got to love these slam dunk stones. Once you see them, you know that there's no way you can go wrong with them. Just getting a little bit of that, I'm going to call it matrix, could be aronite. Could be that I should have paid attention in geology. So, there we go. There's a nice little stone for you. Yes, you're not imagining that lots of green either. It's a beautiful stone. I've got to stop. Oh, I could spend hours on that. Turn off the water. Let's go in and see how those birds are coping with my absence. Drinky poo. Not quite on your level collection. Oh, it's just an energy drink. You didn't have to pull a cork out of it. Right. Closing the door because the magnetic blanket thing is getting frayed. Okay. Hello, Loki. Yeah, come on. Going to go for a little bit of a fly/walk. Loki is the laziest bird I've ever met. The other day I was just sitting down and I looked over and she got out of a cage and she walked over to my chair. She's got wings, but she just, I'm not going to use them. Just going to walk. We don't clip our birds so they can fly. They've got no inhibitions, no restrictions. But walking is what she will do. Yeah, Bella. Makes me feel kind of sad because she's really, really enjoying that, being quite thankful, which means that like she feels a little bit neglected, I think. Poor little sausage. Yeah, you can see her sitting there contentedly gnawing at her little toe. Oh yeah, poor sausage. Got to let Max out though, Loki, okay? Hey Max. You ready for a little bit of an exercise? Basically what he'll do these days is he'll get out. Yeah, you can come out. He'll get out, he'll flap his wings, he'll make a hell of a racket. None of us really mind Max's noises, even though he's like 10 times louder than Loki. Loki's noises can be considered irritating. Also, have a look at his crest feathers. They're getting really ratty. They're about to come out. See that? The other day I was scratching his head and one just came out in my hand. There we go. There's a new one just growing up there. Naturally pin feathers, if people know what they are. And just for your collection of curiosities, this looks like absolute rubbish, but it's doing quite well. Little guppy tank, just over in here. I don't clean it as much as most people do, but it's doing just fine. The water's perfect. Little duck noises. Yes. Whenever Max is a bit upset with things, he'll give a bit of a honk. Oh, are you meaning the clicking? Yeah, they're working guppies, would you believe? I've got a garbage bin outside. Yeah, clicking. Yeah, they click. There's two reasons why they click. They click when they're contented, and they also click when they are with their partner. So I try to limit the clicking to me, but they can click at each other if they want to. It's just we're quite a liberal household, but not that liberal. Yeah, but my guppies are working guppies. If you have a look outside, there's actually, well, you can't see it very well at the moment, but that there is just full of guppies, and it's got a garbage bin just over there, and there's frogs and stuff in there. It's working quite well. And the grate over the top where I grow herbs, there's some mint growing there, just sprouting at the moment. Yeah. Now, the other thing that they do is that because it's still water, and guppies are quite tolerant of conditions, I've deliberately kept the food down in the tank over there because I don't want a population explosion. But I don't feed the outside ones, and that's because when the mosquitoes come, well, they lay their eggs, and then that's the food for the guppies. And also they convert that into nitrogen, and theoretically that goes into the growing of the herbs. So instead of biting me, the mosquitoes grow my herbs for me. Yeah, it is. It's an aquaculture kind of thing. But I'm trying to make a no input aquaculture. And the other thing, I've been getting around to it, which I'll eventually do one day, is have another tank which is fed by rainwater, and just have that at a higher level than the other. What? Okay, you can come out, mate. Come on. I think he's shy and nervous about getting out of the cage. I'll just have a bit of a stretch. I'm not really getting out of the cage. Yeah, I know. We'll just go over here. Well, nothing to see here. Ba-di-da-da-da. No, he's not. Oh, there he goes. That's one of the things about the ethics of birds is very interesting. There are people who say cage birds, don't cage birds, all that sort of stuff. For a start, these guys, I would never have caged them in the first place, except that they are rescues. So, I've got to keep them somewhere. But the second thing is you can have an opinion on one or the other, but ultimately there are people who, keep birds as pets and buy them from pet stores and do all the things that some people would consider to be awful, and they look after the birds really well. So, no harm done. There are other people who do all the right things and just neglect their birds. Much harm done. So it's never a case of philosophy of bird keeping. It's a case of actually being a good bird keeper, as with any animal, I suppose. Oh, sorry, mate. Could be a good bird picker. I just stuck an iron spike into his ear. These guys are absolutely amazing in that they will prefer to be scratched even if it does damage. Yeah, you're loving that, aren't you? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the thing about it is we joke about these guys and say that their eyes are completely indestructible. Because I don't know how many times I've accidentally poked both of these birds in the eye, and they just don't care. I've seen one just kind of blink it out a bit, and that's about it. Going, are you sure you're not blind or something? That was quite a heavy hit. Oh, keep scratching. Okay, fine, whatever. Yeah, I know, that's a pin. There was a pin just right in the ear. I don't know if you've ever had some kind of earwaxy thing in your ear and it's driving you nuts. Imagine having a feather doing that. Yeah. Well, if you remember correctly, there was actually a person who turned out to be a Russian troll who was who said they were going to cook and eat my cockatoo. The first thing is he's clearly not Australian because sorry about that. He's clearly not Australian because if you've heard the story about how to eat a cockatoo is you boil them up with a brick. And when the brick is nice and soft, you throw away the bird and eat the brick because they are that tough and stringy, these things. From the old Bushman culture. What was that? Are you jelly gels? Bit jelly? Come on, you got to let Loki have some affection. You want the affection, do you? Yeah, they are. They're very scrawny. But at any rate, the other thing about this is that, like, Max, he's being nice to me, right? But this guy, he knows how to defend himself. So I can imagine if that guy had actually come over here and tried it, he'd have lost a finger. So I actually said at the time, well, come over, give it a go, see what happens. I've got bets that the bird will win. Yeah. There we go. The coordination to hold a phone and to scratch a bird. Apparently, it escapes me. There you go. Now, I've got to go and give Loki a scratch. Now, Max, speaking of biting, has taken to a new hobby. And that is when I'm giving what he considers to be too much affection to the other bird, i.e. any affection whatsoever. Oh, yeah, Max has... No, that's right. If you remember back when I was doing the opals, I was having trouble figuring out which side of the opal to be cutting. Yeah, but Max, he's taken to whenever he feels like I'm not giving him enough affection, giving the other bird too much affection, he'll come over and bite my head. And the funny thing is he'll bite the top of my head where the hair is because he's learned that doesn't actually hurt me that much. So he can really give it a good go. Oh, yeah. I think everyone's got a dad's cockatoo story, haven't they? I can remember dad's cockatoo was called Caspar. I thought he was quite evil. But, like, if you get a 5-year-old kid and stick him next to a cage with a long-billed corella, which has got a beak the size of a shovel, what do you think's going to happen? He's eventually going to annoy the corella. The corella's going to bite back, and then it's on for young and old. So that's what happened with me and Caspar. And the funny thing is, after all of that, I end up becoming such an advocate for the welfare of these little critters. After initially thinking that, especially corellas, were evil. Yeah, it's a dominance thing. One of the things I've done in my talks is mentioning that they have bird brains. They don't have human brains, so they think like birds, not humans. And part of the birds is a dominance order, and so they could sit there and attack you just to try and say, hey, I'm here on this part of the pecking order, and then they're back to being friends. You've got to remember that. Yeah, ain't that right, Max? Yeah, Max is just sitting there getting into those chest feathers. I'm not quite brave enough to get the chest feathers Oh, yes. Well, that's the interesting thing. Originally, Max was very scared of sticks and probably still is scared of big ones. Like this one. Do you want to get on the stick, Max? Do you want to get on the stick? You can see how he just pinned the feathers straight back. He's not really liking that. So I'm presuming that some point during his tenure with other people, someone poked him with a stick. But I've gotten him to enjoy the little sticks, as you can see. These guys here, little bab sticks, training sticks. You want to bite it? Good bird. Yeah. You see, what I want to do is I want to get him to land on my hand eventually. I want to get him to step up. He's not stepping up as it is. And I was thinking a good way to transition him would be to transition him to a stick, but he's still a little bit gun shy of the sticks. This isn't a good one, mate. This is just look, it's target training stick. What do you expect? I've got this one. Do you want that one? You want that one? Yeah. This one is just basically a little file that I imagine that you stick them into birthday cakes for prisoners so that they can get their way out. Originally, this was because Max had a lot wrong with him. He had bumblefoot, and that's when you put them in a cage with the same size perch and they never step on anything different. He had bumblefoot and he had all full-nailed feet and claws. And also he was prone to repetitive behaviours, and so he'd worn a groove into his beak and his beak had grown misshapen. So I literally got one of these files and I started filing his beak down. And as you can see, he absolutely loves it. He's trying to get me into the nares there. So this part here, I Googled it. It's called a growth plate, where the beak actually joins the face. And because it's constantly growing, they like getting that skin on the growth plate taken off. This is why you get cockatoos doing thousands of dollars worth of damage on your house, because they're trying to chew their beak into shape. Yeah. This was scratching with purpose. You can still see a little bit of the issues with his beak, but they've mostly been carved out. And it's really weird. Max, of all people, he's all cockatoos. He seems to understand, even if you're doing things that are bad. This side, you can see how there's a bit of an overbite just there. He seems to understand that even if you're doing stuff that's bad, it's for his own welfare. He seems to understand that. I'm not trying to put human thoughts into birds, but, they just seem to understand. There you go. Is that any good? Yeah. This is the other ear. I don't think I've done this ear. Or have I done this ear? We've just got to look for the big hole where I poked it. He really likes under here for reasons. I just stabbed him in the foot. See how he cares not? Absolutely loving it. There you go. Oh, why? Why did you stop? Why did you stop? Because my hand's getting tired. I'm holding a phone and a scratchy stick. Guarantee they tire of it before you do. I mean, other way around. Okay, I'll show you Pony. I think I'm going to end the stream because got things to do. How you doing, little Pony? Come on. Oh, you want a scratchy poo, do you? There you are. There we go. All right, you have a scratch. I've given you some rye bread. Bad for you, but you like it. Bread's terrible for birds, but these ones seem to... What was all that about? I love that little jump. The naughty jump. Both of them do naughty jumps. Yeah, you're going to bite my head, aren't you? Yeah. Notice I'm steering clear of the head region. Yeah. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed everything. Yeah, have a good evening, those people in America. I'll have a good afternoon. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you don't like it, well, don't like and subscribe. I always say that. Try and take care, no matter what you're doing. Yeah, I know I look like a disgrace at the moment. Have a lovely afternoon, evening, whatever it is. Dr. Phil out.